And
What inspired you to pursue a career in marketing?
It sort of happened by accident. I came to LSUA, my plan was to go to law school, and I was gonna get my undergrad in business, just so that way I could have a job while going through law school. And I took intro to business with Professor Romero, fell in love with just business. Almost the same kind of class set up where we had a project and we had to walk through the steps. When we got to marketing, I just really liked it, really enjoyed it. Started talking with Professor Romero about different concentration options and just to look more into marketing, and just kind of happened to fall in love with it, and just happened to start really liking all you could do with marketing. So.
Okay. How do you keep up with the latest marketing trends and strategies?
I would say you could read books, you could do that. I don't really do that. I just do a lot of Googling. There's a lot of information that's just open to the public. Marketing I would say for the past 10 years, it's changed a lot because social media has changed a lot. Facebook has changed a lot. Facebook's a big medium because they also own Instagram. So if you want to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, it's really big. I would say you have to keep up with Facebook's policy changes because their policy changes affect Facebook and Instagram. YouTube and Google haven't really changed much over the past 5 years other than the way they've changed some of their monetization. So that was kind of a big change. It's just a lot of like keeping up with the news. A lot of these companies are very public, and so they openly talk about their changes. And so you can just kind of Google a lot of that stuff. Right now, there's the big debate about using AI in marketing, things like that. That's one that you just have to, again, watch the news, pay attention to what's going on. But yeah, you could read a book. I just don't do that. I just watch
time
YouTube.
consuming or like?
No, I wouldn't say it's that time. Like, I may spend an hour or two a week looking at a couple of news articles, watching a couple of YouTube videos about what's new and what's changed. It's not really that time. I can play stuff in the background while I'm working, so it's not that time consuming at all.
Can you describe your approach to creating a successful marketing campaign?
Yes, so you want to start with what's the end goal. That you always want to start with what are you trying to achieve by it? Are you trying to achieve more traffic to your store, to your physical location? Are you trying to achieve more traffic to your website, for people to purchase stuff off your website? Are you trying to achieve more calls so you can get jobs, you can get bids? Like some of our clients don't have a physical address. What they have is a phone number that they can get bids from. Let's say you're going to go do a giant dirt work job. You get calls, people, companies, businesses, people, individuals will call, and they'll get a quote from you, and their job is to land that sale. So it's like, okay, if we want to land bids, if we want to get your phone blown up so that you can give quotes, okay, then now we have to work backwards. Okay, what do we want to use? Do we want to use Google? Do we want to use Facebook? Do we want to use Instagram? Do we want to use LinkedIn? Like, what do we want to use? Then we go backwards. Okay, do we have the information? Do we have the proper content? Do we need to get the proper? And so we just keep working backwards, and we go, okay, well, how much money do you want to spend on this? That depends on, again, how many calls can you handle? Like if you have a crew of 5 people, and then we also work for somebody else as a crew of 15, well, the crew of 15 will probably spend $400, $500, $600, $700 because they'll be able to handle the thousands and thousands of dollars in work that they'll get. If you get a bunch of calls and you only have a crew of 5 people, you can probably only do 1 job, 2 jobs a week. You can only do so much work a week. So if you get 10 calls and you have to turn down 8 people, it starts to get to the point where people just won't call you anymore. So it's better for you to limit the amount of calls. So there's all that planning, but you kind of work backwards, and then you start to formulate your plan. You go, okay, well, this is what we're going to nail down. This is how we're going to do it. This is what's going to happen. This is what we're expected to get, and then you just track the results along the way.
Interesting, working backwards. What do you think are the 3 most important skills for a successful marketer to have?
It's always a difficult one because people a lot of times think creativity is a necessary skill, but I think you can learn creativity to an extent. I was not an extremely creative person. Like I had no artistic talents, but I just had like a little bit of an eye for design and things like that. So I think you have to have some kind of natural ability to be able to decipher between like style almost, like what looks good and what doesn't. And I don't even mean just what you prefer, but what other people might like. There's things that I've done, websites I've built, there's Facebook ads I've made before in the past. It's like I didn't really like the way it looked, but I knew that the audience and the customer's audience would like it. So you have to have some ability to be creative and then also like step out of your comfort zone. That's one. Two is again, time management. We talked about that in class. Time management is super important, especially at the caliber that we're doing marketing. So we do marketing for a bunch of other businesses, and I was even late today because I was handling a client. Like you're always gonna be doing something for somebody else, so you have to be able to manage that. And then one thing is like dedication and hard work. I mean, I think in any job, yeah, especially if you want to grow in that and like go to the next level in it and be successful, you have to be able to commit a decent portion of your life and your time and your energy to it. So you have to be able to be very dedicated to the job and to the craft to be able to get better at it. So level of creativity or style, third hard work, and the second, I've lost my train of thought. What did I say the second one was? I don't remember. But the second one was something that I've now forgotten.
It's okay.
But,
anyways.
How do you understand like what other people like, and not just like be focused on what you like?
Yeah, so it usually starts with a conversation. So like we talk with the client, say, hey, what's your style? Like, and a lot of times it's as simple as a logo. A lot of businesses, they made their logo specific for them. They love their logo. So we'll kind of go off of their logo for a lot of the stuff that we do. For our social media team, what they do is they'll create like a couple of demo graphics, like just demos for the client to look at, things like that. And then the client will say, I like this one, I don't. And so we'll just keep going in that direction. For our website, even flyers and things like that, we just kind of say, okay, what are you looking for? What do you want? What do you like? They may say stuff like, I don't want a big font. I don't want these colors. I just want this color and this color. So we kind of go off of that, and then just start building it out and see what they think. So.
Can you give an example of a time when you had to overcome a marketing challenge?
Yeah, so when we first started doing e-commerce, the way we did it originally was like through PayPal, and you have to go to PayPal and enter in all this information, and PayPal would spit out like a button, and you would just take that code, and you'd put it on a website, and you'd put a picture. So when someone would want to buy something, they would click that button, it would just take them to PayPal. And so let's say we had a client that had 25 products, we did it 25 times. That process was a nightmare. And they couldn't like add to cart, the customer would have to buy each thing individually. It was just a nightmare. And so we had a guy who we had been doing, he was the first person that we did some e-commerce for, and he only had like 3 or 4 products, so it was fine at the time, but he's gonna start expanding and doing like, he had a plan to like 15, 25, 30 products. And I was like, okay, this isn't gonna work. So I kind of had to figure out a way in which we could do e-commerce and like find a platform that we could use that would integrate with the websites that we build and all this good stuff. So that was probably a big challenge. And then each time we get a client with e-commerce, there's always something, each one wants something different. So there's been one that just wants them to be able to not be able to purchase it, but be able to like fill a cart and request, because they do rentals, they rent like furniture and stuff. It's just, each one's a little different than the next, and so e-commerce is always a challenge. I would say those are the biggest challenges we get.
Alright, and then if you could give one piece of advice to your 18-year-old self, what would it be?
Save your money. Save your money. I spent all my...
So you think save your money, don't invest it?
No, I mean save it as in don't blow it. Like I got a lot of money. It was a lot of money to me. I got about $3,000 to $4,000 when I graduated high school from, all the graduation invitations that you send out to get money or whatever. I blew it all. Like I bought like $500 golf clubs, never golfed in my life, and then it took me 2 years to sell those golf clubs. I ended up selling them at a huge loss for like $75. I golfed in them once, I hated golf. Like I just blew all the money. And to this day, that's one of my biggest regrets, is if I would have saved that money and I would have invested it, or I would have used it just more wisely. And then all throughout college, just blowing money on stupid stuff and chasing after, friend groups and relationship, things like that. Like just wasted a ton of money. Probably could have just saved it and been a lot happier in the end. So that's my biggest advice.
All right, I think that wraps it up.
Perfect.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah, if you just add that to YouTube, y'all get an A. I mean,